guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's life. I am very sorry I have been MIA. Like the past 2 weeks I've had concerts, travelling, weddings, but I am back and I guess we are now officially on the road to Tokyo Dome. So today we've had the Tanahashi homecoming show. We have just finished the Super Junior Tag League. I understand that there wasn't a separate Super Junior Tag League video. I will discuss that when we speak about the final. But yeah, let's get going. It was a very jam-packed show with a lot predicting what is going to happen in the future and, more importantly, very big stipulation for the Tokyo Dome. So let's get going. So we started the show with some classic Young Lion action. So we had Matsumoto and Kato with Bolton Oleg facing Zayn J, Yasuda and Murashima. These Young Lions have been a very strong staple of the Super Junior Tag League. They have been teaming with different people. They have been making their presence known. And again, it was nothing exciting, nothing like huge. But I always say that if you are interested in New Japan, you really should be taking a note of these Young Lion matches because they are the future stars. Hell, like 6 years ago, I was watching the likes of Yota Suji and Uemura, Shota, Narita, all in these Young Lion matches. So yeah, it was a really good match. I said this on social media, and I don't come across as dramatic because every time I say, this Young Lion class are amazing, but actually this one is phenomenal. Not just because, like the past one, they have amazing skills and stuff, but their personalities are really shining. So I'm very excited for the future. We then saw another Young Lion, and I'm going to be a little bit biased as a parent here. My favourite Young Lion, Daiki Nagai, teaming with Hiromu and Gedo. Obviously, this is the unaffiliated War Dogs. Really unexpected teamings that we've had, including Gedo and Hiromu for Super Junior Tag League, which might have just been my favourite team ever. And they were facing the TMDK trio of Hartley Jackson and the two who narrowly missed out on their chance of the Best of Super Junior Tag League final, Ichiban Sweet Boys, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles. Again, this was nothing really huge. It was a lot of fun actually, because at the start, Gedo was trying to calm Nagai and Hiromu down, like, I will start the match. And then he realised that Hartley was in the ring. And he somehow managed to get Hartley, I don't know, because obviously Gedo has become a full-on babyface in this tag league. Managed to get Hartley to change to Fujita. And it was just a really funny match. Obviously, of course, there was some great action going on. Like, Ichiban Sweet Boys are phenomenal. Hiromu is great. A lot of humour. And Nagai has been one of my standouts actually in the entire Super Junior Tag League. He was teaming with Clark Connors. They picked up 0 wins. But that was expected. But actually what happened is we've seen even more of a killer side to Nagai. We've always said he's like a problem child. He's very cocky. He's just hilariously unbothered. And by teaming with Clark, he has been doing so much. He has been hanging out with Wheel-san. He's been showing a much more of a killer instinct. So yeah, Nagai, well done. Obviously he got pinned, but again, this is not about wins and losses for these Young Lions. It's about improving and getting big experience against some of the best guys, and Nagai has done that in bucket loads. We then had a third match, which was again a battle of the Super Juniors. So we had the team of Yamato, who he teamed with Tiger Mask, Kukai and El Desperado, Yuki, Yoshioka and Kushida, and Dragon Dia and Taguchi. Now we had 4 New Japan guys, Kukai, who obviously the Mexican independent scene, and 3 Dragon Gate guys. I've really enjoyed seeing the Dragon Gate guys. Like, first I'll say, Dragon Dia probably has the best outfit and the best theme tune I've ever seen. What I've loved about the Super Junior Tag League is they've been having, because Chris can't obviously do all the shows outside of Tokyo, they've been having guys like Robbie, Clark, who's been my favourite, Callum, Robbie X, if I've forgotten someone, I'm sorry, all on commentary, and they have all been singing along to Dragon Dia's theme tune. I'm sorry, that was very awful, but do you know what I mean? It was very catchy. This was a really nice match between 8 baby faces. It was nice to see Yuki and Dragon Dia teaming together because all they were on separate teams. They are actually tag team champions in Dragon Gate. You've got like the new guys, the veterans, because like Yamato, Tiger Mask, Kushida, obviously veterans, but then Dai, who's still very young, Kukai, who's trying to break out. It was a hell of a lot of fun. In the end, the Funky Weapon got a sneaky win over Tiger Mask. And I think what shouldn't be underestimated is, again, this was Tanahashi's show, But Tiger Mask has announced his retirement for next year. This was his final Super Junior Tag League. They went basically beaten in every match, but Yamato went crazy Yamato to get the win over House of Torture in their final match. So yeah, it was a nice way to end for Tiger Mask, and I think people should remember that this is the road to his retirement as well, which was sad. We then had a 10-man tag that I didn't really pay much attention to. It was House of Torture facing my boys. So it was Yo, Yano, Wato, Umura, Shota facing Dicto, Kanemaru, Yujiro, Ren, and Evil. A whole lot of shit went down. Somehow Dick Togo managed to pin Wato. But actually the main thing was when they were beating people down, Aaron Wolf came out, obviously leading to the match at Wrestle Kingdom, which is Evil versus Aaron Wolf, his debut, and Aaron Wolf picked up the Never title, so it seemed like there might actually be something at stake for this special match. So yeah, it's not worth it. If you don't need to watch it, don't. We then had a very good special single tag match, and this was the War Dogs and Unaffiliated again. So we had Clark Connors, Oscar Loibe, Yuto Ice, and Shingo Takagi facing the Empires Jay, Templario, Callum Newman, and Great-O-Khan. Jay, another one who really stood out in this year's tag league. He has been sort of the de facto young lion of the Empire for some time, but he has picked up some big wins, and him and Templario actually did very well considering JY was also on commentary, as he mentioned, and as other guys mentioned. Akira was also on commentary at the start. Why I'm going to mention this is that JY was meant to team with Akira. They know each other so well, but obviously Akira got injured, I think here in London when he was over Forbidden Door weekend, so Templario took over. Interestingly enough, this match started before really the belly went wrong, and it was Oscar and Callum getting up at each other's grill, like really facing each other, getting a lot of animosity there. And the match itself was amazing. We got to see the juniors. Clark Connors has been phenomenal. I don't want to say Clark Connors is one of the most underrated guys in New Japan. With the juniors, it was great seeing Templario. But yeah, it was the action between Callum and Great-O-Khan. And obviously Oscar and Yuto, who have the tag belts. And in the end, JY he picked up the loss. But it seems like they could be teasing something in the future, especially between like Oscar and Callum. Now, this is obviously a huge, because we are coming up to World Tag League. Now, I am assuming we're going to have Callum and Great-O-Khan. Yuto Ice and Oscar are going as champions. But, interestingly enough, in the backstage comments, Shingo Takagi said that he had a team in mind. Now, normally he teams with Suji, but as we'll mention later on, Suji is kind of preoccupied on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. So, after their very long feud, which has given us some stiff, meaty men matches, Shingo has suggested that he is going to team with the one and only Driller Maloney, who is obviously, he used to be a junior, well, we doubt that, with Clark Connors. But now it seems that the two of them are going to be teaming, and that is going to be lethal if it does happen. So yeah, that was like the end to all like the matches that didn't really have any major implications but will do going forward. And then we got on to the big bulk of stuff. So we started with the Super Junior Tag League final, and that was Doki and Sho, who managed to win Block A, facing Ishimori and Robbie X from Block B. Now, I am the biggest advocate of junior wrestling. I'm the biggest advocate normally of Super Junior Tag League, which is a tour that tends to be very underrated. But New Japan, and like I said, I'm always very positive about New Japan, but I can admit when there are issues going on, and they massively dropped the ball with this tournament. If you look at the lineup, there was New Japan guys, Templario, and then Dragon Gate. It seems like, compared to last year where they had the likes of Velocities and a lot of distinct proper teams, there was so much makeshift teams going on. Robbie even mentioned, Robbie Eagles actually, that apart from him and Fujita, and I guess even to a lesser extent, Robbie X and Ishimori, none of them are really that prominent teams. Wato and Yo, who are one of the stronger duos, they only really came together at the start of the year. Same with Sho and Doki. And it just felt like there was no really amazing standout moments. I mean, I say this, the match between Ichiban Sweet Boys and Robbie X and Ishimori on the quarter semi-finals was phenomenal. But obviously having Doki and Sho go undefeated, none of it really made sense, because especially if you tie into the fact that actually Doki is holding the singles belt as well. It shows that the junior division, one that I always love and still very close to my heart, is in need of a lot of help. And this final showed it, because actually, on the surface, this match was amazing, which is never the issue with juniors. Even like Doki and Sho doing their shenanigans, because I always say you have to have a heels, and they didn't have any House of Torture input. They haven't the entire tournament. They've had like chairs, the mirror, the wrenches, but generally it's just been the two of them. The match was great. Robbie Eagles and Ishimori are phenomenal in the ring together. Like, I was saying this on social media. I followed Robbie X for years in the British independent scene. I'm so happy he gets this showcase on a bigger platform, a more global platform. And him with Ishimori works well. Because while Ishimori and Robbie are very athletic in themselves, you can then balance it with Ishimori's more mat game or his strength. And Robbie has a great charisma about him. Which meant that actually, because they're technically like tweeners, heels, war dogs, you know what I mean? They were battling the tactic. So Ishimori was doing low blows, hitting Sho with the mirrors. But in the end, it was like, remember the first time, I think it was Sho versus Doki, or maybe, yeah, when we saw Doki unmask and spray the red, he did that again to get the win over Ishimori. It was a great match, actually, like the best match that the two champions have had. But now what happens going forward? It's not the first time that the champions have won Super Junior Tag League. They've mentioned that this happened with Sho and Yo as Roppongi 3K. In my head, Roppongi 3K is still a thing. But now what? This was meant to be for a chance to challenge at Wrestle Kingdom, but then Doki's also going to have a challenger. If they're picking their opponent, are they going to pick a really stupid opponent? Are they going to choose to not even defend the titles at Wrestle Kingdom? Because for me, one of the best things about the junior title, the tag titles, has always been that it's been the perfect match to have multi-mans. Like when I went live in January, they had the Fatal 4-Way, the ladders and chairs. That was amazing. It was the time where you can have, because juniors don't get a lot of representation on these Wrestle Kingdom cards. It was a chance for all of them to get their big Tokyo Dome moment. So I don't know what's going to happen going forward. There was a hint that somebody said that, oh, maybe this could have been a title match today for Doki and Sho to lose. But yeah, I'm stuck in a bit of a limbo here. The junior division's been up and down this year. Like, I personally enjoyed the best of Super Junior, but I think they let the ball drop with not having Fujita pin Despy. Then with Doki winning, it was fine, but then having him doing that while holding the tag titles, it's the presence of House of Torture. Something needs to get sorted. We are so close to Wrestle Kingdom, and there's not really many chances to get anything sorted, so that needs to be done. But yeah, generally it's a fine match, but it's probably my least favourite Super Junior Tag League that I've watched since started, and that's really sad for me, so something needs to change. However, luckily, no matter how much shenanigans was going on in the Best of Super Junior Tag League final, the next two matches were amazing, and truly lived up to the expectations of Tanahashi's homecoming. We started off with Tanahashi himself doing his hometown, facing global champion Suji. Now this is very emotional on every surface. The story of Tanahashi and Suji dates back even before Suji was in the debut. They've been showing pictures of when Suji met Tanahashi at a train station, and Tanahashi said, "You should become a New Japan wrestler." Then obviously Suji joined the dojo and he became Tanahashi's second-hand man, and he went on excursion, came back. Tanahashi assumed he was coming to Hontai. He went to LIJ. He has had success winning the New Japan Cup. He's now global champion. And this match is really just an extra evidence of why Tanahashi's retirement tour has been so amazing. This match was full of heart. We know Tanahashi's on his last knees, but actually everything that he has done in every match he's had, and including this one, is to work to his advantage. He had so much heart. He was putting Suji actually to the test, because their last singles meeting was the G1 where Tanahashi actually got the win. So there was an extra spark in Suji, but Tanahashi wasn't going to let that go easy. He was giving everything. There was high fly flows, sling blades, dragon screws. He was attempting to do spears. He was attempting to do Suji's Gene Blast. But Suji as well was like, this might be my last chance to get retribution over the man who helped me come to where I am. He was doing high fly flows. At one point he did a Gene Blast, but he couldn't capitalize because this match was going so crazy. The crowd were firmly on Tanahashi's side. This is his hometown. So Suji was using this to like heal up. I've always said this, that you've got to be an amazing wrestler to be able to adapt to the audience, because hell, Suji is one of the most popular competitors in New Japan, but he knew that he is massively going to be the underdog, the villain against Tana. So he played to that. And in the end, Suji got the win with an amazing Gene Blast. I know there was one moment where he thought he could beat Tanahashi in the same way he beat Gabe with the Boston Crab, which would have been actually quite nice because it would have been a move that Tanahashi would have taught Suji as in line. But it was perfect. Suji got on the mic saying, you know what? I've spent ages trying to catch up to you, but I'm going to surpass you. And Suji was like, this is obviously, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And then Tanahashi spoke and he was basically passing the baton on to Tanahashi. But when we thought it was all going to be nice, there was a hug going on. Yuto Ice came, and Yuto Ice is also from the same place as Tanahashi, and so he challenged the Ace and said, right, okay, next week, I know you never tire, so let's have a match. And that was met with huge reactions. So that's going to happen in Aichi, which is very exciting. We then had the main event, and that was Hiroki Goto returning with his husband Yoshihashi and his new son Matsumoto to face IWGP Heavyweight Champion Takeshita. Their last match together actually was last year's G1, and it was Goto who actually won. I remember that was like when we thought that was Goto's time. We had to wait a few more months, but yeah. This match was phenomenal. I don't know what else there is to say. These two are two of the best. Two different generations. It was always the joke that Takeshita said that he was facing someone he used to watch on the telly, because Takeshita, for all of like the criticism he's got, he has been a New Japan fan for so long. He posted a video of himself in a New Japan t-shirt, and he must have been about like 6-7 years old. It was like a tale of two halves in terms of like, there was nobody who was in an advantage for longer than anyone else. At some point, Takeshita was fully in control, but then Goto was hitting moves that we've not seen, as commentary put out, since he was a junior heavyweight. It was strong. It was like the crowds were on their feet, obviously cheering for Goto, because even though Takeshita is signed to a New Japan contract, he's still technically an outsider. And it showed that, yes, Takeshita is the future, he's the present, but Goto is still firmly going to be there. In the end, Takeshita got the win, but again, there was a sign of respect between Goto and Takeshita. Like, thank you for putting on a proper IWGP match. And I mean, I like a hint that if Goto wants another shot, he can. And then Takeshita got on the mic and said, right, this is my last defense now. We've got Wrestle Kingdom. Who is going to come out and challenge me? Who would come out? And it was Yota Tsuji. He came to the ring and he's like, I am going to be the one to lead New Japan. And it is set now, January the 4th, is going to be Takeshita versus Suji in the main event, title versus title. Now, I don't know how I feel about title versus title. It gives me really interesting flashbacks to when the Intercontinental title and the Heavyweight title were combined. However, it feels that in a year where there has been a lot of confusion about the direction New Japan was going and pushing the future, that this seems like the perfect match. This seems like the perfect way to like bring New Japan into the new generation. And there's a lot of stuff that's exciting for Wrestle Kingdom. We've got that. In the backstage comments, Gato said that he had the perfect person for Tanahashi's retirement. A lot of people thinking it could be Okada. So, yeah, I mean, the Super Junior Tag League tournament was a bit of up and down. But actually, the two final shows of the Tanahashi show was phenomenal. And now what we've got some New Japan Road shows, World Tag League coming up. We've got some great teams seemingly set for that. And then we are going to have Wrestle Kingdom. So, yeah. It was a great show, some really good stuff going forward, and I'm excited. But now it's time to let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on a controversial Super Junior Tag League, but what you thought of this card in general, the main event, the semi-main event, what we're seeing going forward. Let me know in the comments, on social media at wrestling_chat. It's going to be really exciting time coming up. So yeah. You've got to remember, if you like my video and you like me covering New Japan, make sure to hit like, share and subscribe. We're going to be on a busy road now to Tokyo Dome, and I will hopefully be there for the entire thing. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show, and I will see you soon. Bye!